I will try my best to not get emotional or even shed a single tear in this video, but I will make no promises. This video has no clear topic. It's just something that popped up in my mind, and I'm just combining a variety of ideas that have been resonating with me lately. You've all heard the phrase letting go and all that, and I will try my best to not go over cliche things you already know, like I've said in the last video. But there's this stream of videos, or a streak of videos rather, that keeps popping up in my feed on letting go, blah blah blah. I think the algorithm has finally caught up on my situation, in which some of you guys may know or may not know, is that I'm undergoing through a process of change as I am in my post-breakup phase, which is not that bad relative to what other people go through. The way it ended things, again, I got lucky. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still terrible. I can assure that, future Homer. It's not a pleasant experience. In any case, there's this one theme that keeps recurring, obviously, which is letting go and all that. You don't miss the person, you miss the memories you've made with them. Sticking to the past will only prohibit you from making more memories that could happen in the future. If you're stuck up with what could have been, you're risking what could be. You've heard that over and over, and I've heard it. And way before this relationship stuff even became remotely close to a problem to me, this was a concept that was not foreign to me. It's all over the place. Anyways, when it comes to letting go, why let people in your life when they're going to take themselves away from you? Let me rephrase that clearly. Why are we being given things if they're going to disappear anyways, inevitably, even if it's not their choice? Because that's how life is. It's one of those it is what it is in life. And like I've said and emphasized in my previous video, it's a blur. When do we get to use that phrase? When someone tries to enter our lives, per se, whether we like it or not, whether it be out of logic or emotion, how are we able to justify that once they leave, which they will inevitably do? How do we deal with that exactly? Because it's something that I'm having trouble grasping. I may just be unwise, or I'm just young. I'm very much aware of the whole, it's not about the destination, it's about the on the way there. It's the process, it's not the outcome. Therefore, I should not attach myself to the actual goal. Then there's this scene from BoJack Horseman, I believe, that really touched me. It's like, well, it's not BoJack Horseman, I think it's Rick and Morty. It's about, I think it was Morty and some guy on a diner, and they were talking about no one's really going to stay, like, in a relationship. Literally, the best case scenario is if you guys both die together, which is like not even that great of a scenario. What I'm trying to say is, change is a constant thing, but I'm trying to approach this from a very novel perspective, wherein I more or less reject it, even though I know I am powerless against it. Because one answer or solution to this is that when I let people in my lives moving forward, it should be out of logic, because that's initially what my system was going to be until she came along and kind of flipped my entire world and principles all over its head. But that aside, I'm not complaining, by the way. When they leave, at least once they leave, I'd have a logical explanation or a rational understanding of why they are leaving, because I can simply say, this person, he or she have done what she's supposed to do, she has served his or her purpose, and they have did it well, therefore I no longer need them, that's why they're leaving. But if we let people in irrationally or emotionally, it would obviously be the same way once they leave. It won't make sense why they're leaving. It won't make sense why they're being taken away from you. I'm trying my best to understand why things are being taken away from us. A lot of you are probably screaming at me right now, Time and change is what brings people together. Therefore, it's what is also going to take away people from each other. It will take lives, it will give lives, it will burn houses, it will build houses, it will build relationships, it will destroy relationships, it will make a man crazy, and it will make a man sane. But why? You know, last Saturday when I was out drinking with friends trying to cope with life and all that, this dude who is the last person you would think to think about anything remotely close to philosophy or life advice and wisdom and all that, let alone give you one, he said to me, "You know why you're going crazy, Homer? It's because you keep asking questions with no definite answer to. And this is one of them." And I understand that. But the way I justify it, of course, at the time I was silent because it does make a point. I am taking that in like a champ. It's a bullet onto my head. And the way I'm just trying to lessen the damage and implement damage control is that I am on the path to insanity. Because I always believe that successful people are insane to some extent. But that's pretty unreasonable, obviously. I guess that's one of my major flaws. I just can't seem to get out of the past. It's my nature. It's me. And I've made a long thread about this on Twitter. But if I were to just boil it down to one phrase or a quote, I'm not sure where this came from or where I've heard it first, but it's not from me, definitely. So I'm giving credit when it's due. It said this: when the world doesn't make sense and when reality seems to be against you constantly, it's either one of two things. It's either one, there's something wrong with the world, or two, there's something wrong with you. And in most cases, it's most likely going to be the former. And that's my answer. My answer to most of my whys is I'm the problem. I can't accept the future. For some reason, I can't accept that people move forward. And the way I always thought about this growing up is that I just had to have committed such a heinous crime or whatever sin to many people in my previous lives that my punishment would transcend lifetimes, that I am feeling its effects or sanctions up until to this point. My willingness to stay, I have no idea where it came from. I've already had this delusion ever since I was elementary, and it stemmed from a series of dreams, and I can't help but think that this is some sign from the universe or reality. It's just that I feel like I've left people behind at some point in my previous lives. It feels like deep within me, or subconsciously, or spiritually, or whatever floats your boat. Feels like I've abandoned a lot of people, and something within me or something greater than me is screaming or whispering to me subtly that this time around you can't live the life you want for yourself, because up until this life, again hypothetically, you've been leaving people behind because you were so selfish. And I know it's out of pocket, it sounds crazy. To punish oneself for a sin that they may or may not have committed in a past life is a crazy reason to suffer for. I know I should move forward, but why do you think I still have my senior high school ID lace up there? I still wear it every day. It's like a testament to the fact that I'm the guy that stays because I always leave, or I've always left, and I don't know. And I guess that just sums up my life moving forward now. I'm just looking for the person, the thing that I'm willing to stay behind for, but there's a paradox. That would mean moving forward. It's terrible. This time and change thing, it's constant. It's the only constant thing in this world. It's a common philosophical idea that I'm getting sick of it because it keeps getting repeated on my head because of how hyper aware I am. I'm just sad that some people have to be lessons, and that's all they ever will be. Like, what's emphasized in those letting go videos is that some people are just meant for this part of your life, some people are meant to leave, and this is not consists or is only contained within the context of partner to partner relationships, but literally friends, family, and you can even include the discussion of deaths here and sickness. Like, why do people leave us behind? But again, I'm not even exempt from this because I've also left people behind. I can't help but feel that any girl I would date moving forward from now on would subconsciously be a rebound because of my nature. I guess that's one of my concerns, and that's a concern that I hope would never ever tackle, because I made a contract with myself exactly a year ago, November, that I'm going to let myself date this one girl and this one girl only, and if it fails, you're supposed to get punished for it. That was my deal with myself. This is not self-sabotage, because self-sabotage is impulsive. This one is a contract. It's an agreement with my past self, so I can't just dip on it because it's convenient. The easiest thing to do would be to move forward, because that's what everybody else is doing. She's moved forward, my friend group has moved forward, everybody else is gone. It's just me. And I can't help but my entire life will revolve around that recurring theme and loop, because it's a loop, it's a cycle. I move forward and then it disappears because it always does, because the world says it will be gone, because obviously change and time is ticking, and then I'll be there, and then I'll go through this phase again, which is twice as worse, but I'll be twice as numb. And I can't help but feel envious on how people are dealing with this far better than most people, and definitely way better than I am. Some people literally don't mind at all. They don't even begin to think about this problem in the first place, because it's not even a problem that we humans are supposed to be worried about, because we're supposed to be concerned about more practical and real life things, like my exam on Thursday. And yet I'm here taking my time recording this video, whining about how time and change are taking things away from me, because literally that's its job. Oh, but Homer is just making space for the things to come. It does get better. It does get better. Because that's time. It does get better. Time heals things. Well, guess what? Time also destroys things. And time makes things worse as well. Most people miss that. Like, don't they miss the other side of the coin? It's a double-edged sword. And I'm probably one of the only few people who sees the reflection of the sharper edge, which is the one that takes lives, the one that takes memories, the one that takes experience. It's heartbreaking for me for some reason. You know, some of my friends, they are baffled that I'm even facing such a dilemma, and as they should be, because obviously I'm the problem. Rebounds. I just think that would be a theme in my life now. Not in the context of relationships strictly, but literally anything that I get new. I've cried about this pill to swallow for so many times. At this point, it just became an annoying habit that I have, that, hey Homer, you're stuck in the past again. Yeah. Seeing them just fade out of reality right in front of your eyes. Things that you've worked hard for so long, things you didn't kill yourself for, things that you've lived for, things that made you feel alive. And now that they're gone, and now I have to start from scratch. Being able to start from scratch is something most people aren't even given the chance to do, let alone do things all over again, which I would gladly do if I ever had the chance. So I guess that's it for my yap today. Why are we letting things in our lives if they're going to be taken away from us? It's a question that makes me suffer on the daily. As soon as I wake up, as soon as I sleep. What do you guys think? What do you Homers think? Future Homers? I'm pretty sure you've just become numb to this. I don't think you've arrived at any different conclusion aside from the fact that we are the issue. It's this and this. Nothing wrong with everything else. It's this and this, and perhaps even these two. heart is aching. And that song, Heartaches, it perfectly encapsulates that feeling. Nostalgia, reminiscence, what was. Thank you for watching, guys. If you're somehow still watching, because this is a lengthy video, please stay well, don't die.